Damn, I'm good.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of StarCraft Inc. Today's match is a 1v1 between SSNYorosmai, the legendary macro god of the SSN. This guy is freaking amazing in both his mechanics and his micro and his control and his everything. We are likely going to see him in the Grandmaster League in the near future. He is at the top of Master League on 2 different accounts, one here, one in Korea. And you know what? The guy just rocks my world, okay? So he plays random now. He is originally a Zerg player, and he will be playing, Protoss. Here he is, the blue Protoss spawning in the north side of Metalopolis. And over on the right side, we have ITSpnik, and I'm going to call him Picnic because that's what I see when I read this word with my dyslexic brain. I'm not really dyslexic, but I like to pretend that I have an excuse for my stupidity, and that's what it is. And this is the red Zerg over here. I think I said that already. Moving on with this game, we are going for the standard wall from the Protoss player, picking away at the pylon. Guys, somebody, whoever knows, tell me, why do Zerg do this? Why does the drone work away on the pylon? Is it because that if they get lings up into the base, the shields are half worked away so the lings can kill the pylons faster? Is that what it is? That's the only thing I can fathom. Why wouldn't this drone, go to work on some things in the mineral line? And Yorosmai loses a probe to this drone. But yes, I don't understand that. Like, look, the shields are already back at full power. Why waste time doing that? Why not, come over here and harass the line, force some micro? I don't care what you do, but why do they pick at the pylon? I don't understand. And that drone is about to be executed. No, gets away with its life once again. Oh, the excitement of the first 3 minutes of the game. Finally, a probe takes revenge for its fallen buddy over here. And, all is that it should be in the Protoss base. Right away, Warp Tech finished. We've got Chrono going down right away, both on the Cyber Core and the Gateway, to get that sentry out right and early. So it looks like that's, when we get a sentry out like that, generally kind of tells us that he's going for a gate expand, either 1 gate or 3 gate. But I think we can guess that it will be a 3 gate. There is an expansion here for the Zerg player, and that's pretty standard. Everybody knows that Zerg expands. That's what they do. And keep in mind, the drones are pulled off gas, so we're not going to see roaches. It is just going to be speed for the lings and some macro play. That's definitely what it looks like, macro, macro, macro. So these lings are kind of doing their thing, running around, sentry poking, and not much to tell you at the beginning. I like the Overlord spotting here. Nothing's getting through this space. No early Void Rays without it getting spotted. And then the Queen can book it on over there and do some DPS. A second Queen if necessary. A pylon in the smoke, guys. Keep doing this. If an Overlord's chilling here, this could be a Nidus Worm later in the game. And that is such a pain in the ass. So just remember to scout this smoke in some way, shape, or form. Even leave a probe there if you don't want to dump 100 minerals on it. I don't care. So we are seeing those 3 gates, and notice that these are way back here, away from any kind of spotting that the lings can do at the front door. Other than that, pretty standard game so far. We are seeing that expansion in good timing. Pylon going down in the makings of a wall. A lot of Protoss players like to kind of sort of wall off this choke. It allows you to use less force fields when a big Zerg army is trying to smash its way through, and it helps you kind of corral speedlings. Really herd them through, if that makes sense. And then the standard spine crawler coming from the Zerg player. Generally, if you see that spine crawler, you don't have to worry about early aggression too much. It's not going to be like a big roach bust. They would not get that spine crawler blindly, especially a second one. You scout 2 spine crawlers, man. You're good to go. You're good to sit in your base and chill for a while because he's going to do the same. And yeah, no, a lot of players are like, I really have to pressure the Zerg, and you kind of do. But if you can keep up with their expansions, like if Yorosmai were to take a 3rd right now, I mean, I think he could hold it. I don't know what to tell you, but we're not seeing Yorosmai push out and punish the Zerg for taking the third. You don't really have to do that. You just have to keep up in macro, because when that Zerg player is on his third, you know, things are just kind of even. Let me show you right here. The Zerg is... okay, he's harvesting less gas, that's why. But I mean, he's on 3 bases. He's getting this third base up. He's just spent 300 minerals on this, so he's going to be down for a while. He's going to spend larva and money on drones. By the way, the Lings are kind of pushing in. They're not going to get in. It's okay. Nothing to talk about here. But we'll take a look at the income tab again once this base gets up and running, and you'll see that there's not much difference, man. So, coming back to the production tab, we are seeing a forge. We're seeing that Twilight Council. If you take a look at the way things are going here, he's getting the forge for upgrades, the Twilight Council so that he can get blink, and not only that, when weapons 1 finishes, a lot of Protoss like to get weapons 3 before getting any armor upgrades against Zerg. So he will be able to get weapons 2 and 3, seeing as how he has the Twilight Council. So that's one way to go. And we will see, just tossing out some probes. This tends to, a lot of Zerg players will leave all their Zerglings out front. And when you send a probe out like this, bam, you kind of get a good view of what the Zergling count is. And as you can see, that's really all that's floating around, just a handful of things. So, good indication right there. And there's not really much else to talk about. We do have the roaches coming out and getting that glial reconstitution. That is movement speed of the roaches. Roach speed, baby, baby, baby. So we are getting weapons 1 for those roaches as well, and a couple roaches on the way. But once again, this is pretty much just a standard macro game. Both players are not really doing anything cheesy, which is nice. I mean, like, cheese is cool, but ultimately, a good player is going to hold it off, guys. So if you're one of those guys who just constantly wins with cheese, once you get to the higher leagues, once that starts getting you through the mud players, you know, you're going to have to learn something else, because that cheese doesn't carry you forever. And you know, I freaking love it when Terran SCV Marine all-ins me, because it's a free win. It really is. And the 1-1-1 all-in, I like that one too, because I just kind of get early blink stalkers and dismantle it tech lab by tech lab. And anyway, so we do have Yorosmai poking in, seeing the spine crawlers, knowing that not happening. I mean, you can't push in against spine crawlers with blink stalkers. They are pretty much the paper shredder of paper stalkers. That's kind of what stalkers are. They're a little bit... I would call them glass cannons, but they don't even really have much firing power either. They're really a support unit. But we'll see what Yorosmai uses them for. It kind of looks like he's going for a stalker power build, like heavy blink stalkers, weapons upgrade. It's going to be a scary force to deal with for the Zerg player. We do have an observer coming out, which is a good call. Sometimes players will get Robo Bay just to spit out observers and nothing else. By the way, we have infestors coming out with pathogen glands. That was out a while ago. I kind of had my mouse over it before, but didn't say anything about it. Sorry, man. The production tab is open for a reason, so that I can see it, but also that you can see it when I don't say things. That happens. And we're on weapons 2 for the Zerg player, so both players really on top of their upgrades. I appreciate that a lot. A lot of players neglect upgrades, but they are the way of the StarCraft future, man. Upgrades are the way to go so far, and you know, a lot of modern playstyles really incorporating them hard. So this third base going up for Yorosmai, it's about time too. I mean, it looks like ITSpnik is taking his 4th. And, you know, it'll put him again in good shape against the Protoss players. So, however this goes down, anyway, Yorosmai's got an observer right over the Zerg army, and there's no detection here. Finally getting an overseer, but I mean, what's that going to do? You've got no anti-air, so he still won't be able to kill the observer, unless he's going to fungal growth it to death. I mean, if you want to go that route. But anyway, so the observer kind of gets out of the way, and, long story short, Yorosmai knows exactly what's there, which is nice for him, really nice. And kind of setting up this little wall here. Cannons to buy him time if anything pushes up the ramp so that his army can get here. And this is such a good, solid, standard way to play Protoss, walling off that third base, especially on this map when there's 2 entrances into the base. And his opponent, you know, there's not much Zerg does to defend their expansions other than, you know, a spine crawler and maybe a spore crawler for detection. And, you know, just creep spread. Like, solid creep spread. Fundamental part of playing Zerg. Like, at this point in the game, if the creep was this far, back a couple months ago, I would have been like, wow, this Zerg player is so good at creep spread. But man, it just becomes such a fundamental part of being a talented Zerg player. This kind of creep spread is just standard. I mean, it's textbook. You have to play like this or you will die. You will not be able to get your units from point A to point B fast enough. It's just the way it is. So there are a lot of stalkers here. Immortals on the way. Weapons 3 on the way. Burrow for the roaches and lots of upgrades just right out the ass. And here we go, an engagement. Some good force fields, then completing that force field wall. Blink to try to keep the stalkers alive. However, fungal growth does go down, preventing a handful of them from blinking back. We do have one immortal in the mix, just kind of taking pot shots here and there, but with that range 6, he just popped an infestor, and now this roach army has got to back up. But no, it's going to continue to try and do damage and pursue this army, but it's not working out for him. Force field going down, stopping their retreat, but they're not even trying to retreat. They're just playing along, letting the roaches die. This Zerg player is not playing this the way he needs to, and just watching those roaches get annihilated by the stalkers is tasty. That is what you get for not running away. And a few overlords kind of migrating in that direction. It looks like it was a rally point, but yeah, I mean, if Yorosmai spots those, it's free supply, man, and I hope he does. And guys, if you don't know who the SSN clan is, you obviously haven't been a part of the channel very long. I myself am SSN Incarnate. SSN is our clan. We are high masters in all team games. We've been top of the world in 4s for quite some time now, at least for the last 3 seasons, and top North American in 3s, and always rank 1 in our masters division. So we're a good team competition, and then in 1v1 we're all quite strong as well. So that is kind of a gist. We do watch him get a hold of the tower with 1 damaged stalker just to see how big the army is, which was a great play. He took the stalker with the least amount of health and put it on the tower so he could get a good look at that army without moving his observer. And that is such a useful tactic, and I think we'll see Yorosmai use it a lot, as I've seen him do it a lot in the past. He's got 1 more stalker here that is at like no health, 11 HP. And just kind of wandering around. He's got his observers in position. He will be killing creep tumors. Here comes a infestor, and then there goes the single stalker to grab the tower. He gets a good look at the army, knows whether he should back off or stay there, and he chooses to leave. With no force fields, that's a lot of roaches to deal with fungal growth in the mix, and wisely, Yorosmai does not engage. So he will be pushing down the map here, destroying some creep tumors once again, really putting the pressure on the Zerg player. This is kind of a bad place for the Zerg player to engage. The Protoss is full concave, blinking back to let his zealots get in front and his mortals in range. The roaches burrow, but it's not the right choice, as that allows free shots on them from the Protoss player. Now Yorosmai is wandering into the spine crawlers, and I'm not sure that's what he wants to do. Forced to kind of give up part of his army in the retreat as the zealots get just butchered by the roaches. And now Yorosmai is backing up, regrouping, making sure he does not trade his army uncost effectively, because it's not something that is an option for a Protoss player against Zerg. If you're losing units and it's not cost effective, you're going to lose the game in the long run, because they will replace their army faster than you. So you need to be cost effective. You absolutely need to be cost effective. And yeah, we'll see roaches, more roaches, and some more roaches. We've got a big greater spire on the way. I'm not really sure where it is on the map, but I see it in the production tab, which it's kind of a good play by ITS, because he never revealed anything with the spire. I mean, the spire came and instantly it was a greater spire. So there's nothing to indicate to Yorosmai that that's even on the way. So I feel like Broodlords are just kind of gonna pop out of nowhere, and Yorosmai will be caught with his pants down. But I mean, he's got nothing but blink stalkers. I don't know what the plan is for those Broodlords. He'll really have to play with the dead space. There's a big engagement here. Force field's going down to cut off the roaches, but there's still quite the concave against Yorosmai right now. He really needs to back up and get back in control of the concave. However, Immortals are just the right unit to deal with this. His upgrades are unreal, 3-1, and they get bonus damage to the roaches. And yeah, I don't even know what to tell you. That was pretty one-sided. Despite the concave, if he didn't have the concave, that would have been even worse. Yorosmai needs to keep moving. He needs to do damage. Well, he has the option now. However, I think he waited around a little too long. He's going to be faced with reinforcements soon before he can even finish off a hatchery. He is killing what he can. just executing queens, killing roaches, attacking spine crawlers. He's pushing in at this expansion, but here comes a big wave of roaches, just like I said, and the stalkers don't really know what to shoot at. Some of them shooting at this expansion still, some of them fighting the roaches, but this is going to be a hairy engagement, as once again the roaches have the dominant concave. It is not how Yorosmai wanted to engage this. He should have backed up and pulled up. He is actually going to retreat up the ramp and just kind of take on small clusters of roaches at once and kite the ones on the ground. And it looks like he will be getting just a small pack of his roaches out of there, which is the best he can do out of that situation. So this expansion is still standing for ITSpnik, and he's spitting out a bunch of corruptors, which I don't think Yorosmai even saw, and getting a queen once again for that hatchery. The macro from this player is quite impressive. A lot of the time, Zerg players won't even bother getting queens for like their 4th and 5th base. Sometimes they do, but not always. And it's impressive to see this guy managing this many queens. Just taking a quick drink here. We do have Yorosmai taking this base. Something that I didn't mention because I had a lot to say already. The Zerg player, Yorosmai tried to take these expansions while he pushed, but the Zerg player had burrowed lings here, and Yorosmai could not drop the expansions. He ended up dropping them and having them canceled, and he went a long time before he even noticed that the Nexus did not get placed. So those burrowed lings, man, they can buy you a lot of time. Yorosmai would be way ahead if that had gone down when he intended it to. So there's the drone transfer, probe transfer, sorry. And there should be another one to this one shortly. And another push commencing. We do have an expansion going down at the goal, but it's a ballsy one for ITSpnik. It does get canceled, so good reflexes there. And there's a big Protoss army here. Keep in mind, I want you to notice that there are no Colossus. Players are really kind of backing away from using Colossus, and it's, I think it's a personal choice, but it seems to be Immortal Archon is the way to go now. So if you're finding that your Colossus are getting executed, maybe try using something like Archons for a little while. We do have the Broodlords in the mix. The Stalkers are right underneath, trying to get some snipes in, trying to deal as much damage to the Broodlords as he can. He knows that it's not a fight he can win here with... So look at this, he's sending his Archons and Immortals to try and get them to safety as the Blink Stalkers come in here and do as much damage as they can to Expos. He's going to run, just ignore everything around him. Observers following the Stalkers, giving him high ground and low ground view. He's going to snipe this base as well, and with weapons, 3 Stalkers take down hatcheries pretty damn fast. So he will be getting out of here now that the Broodlords are in range, sniping 1 Stalker, but getting out pretty much unscathed. For 2 expansions, that was a pretty good trade. Right away, ITSpnik dropping that expansion again, and we'll probably be placing a second one here as soon as he... I don't know what he's waiting for. He's waiting for this huge line of drones, buddy. Looks like they're long-distance mining now, which is kind of strange to me. But anyway, we will see the Protoss army engage this one here. That's a lot of Broodlords. That's all I have to say. Good force fields going down, cutting up the Roach army once again. And one-sided exchange on the ground. A good army mix, man. Archon, Archon, Stalker, Immortal. I really like that with just the right amount of Sentry in the mix. And we're going to see the Stalkers get right under the Broodlords. It's not what the Broodlords wanted. And, they're free as free can be. Well, the Immortals destroy the Roaches on the ground. The Stalkers are free to annihilate the Broodlords, and because of Blink, they don't worry about Broodlings. And that was a painful exchange. Just unbelievably unfair for the Zerg. He did not want that at all. So the Zerg trying to take this expansion here again. If he gets away with it, it will be a good one for him to have. Those middle expansions are so hard to keep, though. They're right on the edge of enemy territory, and it's so easy to get in here, do some damage, leave. You really got a safe exit route. And man, I don't know what to tell you about the situation right now. The Zerg just lost his entire army, some expensive Broodlords, and I mean, if we're gonna look at the units lost tab, we got the Protoss way ahead. I mean, he's only lost 19 grand to 30 grand of the Zerg's lost units. So right now we've got ground armor on the way, level 3. Hells yeah. And Ultralisks. Ultralisks against Blinkstalkers and Immortals? Really? I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know what he's thinking. I mean, I think he had it right with Infestor. He needs to go Ling Infestor now. That's what he needs. And GG, well played. That's the game, ladies and gentlemen. Man, he lost those Broodlords for free. That's all I have to say. SSNYorosmai taking this game with command. I think well played, guys. You tell me what you think. Tell me if you want to keep seeing SSN games or if you want me to go back to pro games. I'll get into user-submitted replays soon enough, guys. I'm SSN Incarnum, and you're watching StarCraft Inc.